Everybody, so this video I want to get right into talking about the craziest things, and I probably left some stuff off, that have happened to us as landlords in the last 3 years. And I have a list. Just making the list and thinking of some things that's happened to us, like we forgot about a lot. I forgot about a lot of these crazy things. And I'm more so doing this because you see these videos all the time, or you go and search Google and YouTube and own rental real estate. It's like, oh, buy it, use the people's money and financial freedom. And, then you always hear the real estate agents, make sure you buy a house, don't rent and pay somebody else's mortgage, blah, blah. Like, don't get me wrong. I would do this all over again. I'm going to continue to buy more and more houses that make sense financially. I'm very strategic on that. I'm extremely conservative in doing these as well. But it's not all fun and games. Trust me, it is not all fun and games, especially when you're managing them yourself. So I'm going to get right into it. This is in no particular order. As we got writing stuff down, we started remembering other things, and gosh, it's crazy. So the first thing I want to do is talk about repairs, right? So we bought our first unit in October of 21. So we're coming up right on our 3-year mark of basically being landlords. So we bought our first one, and since then we have a total now of 16, all spread out here around East Tennessee. So I want to kind of just talk about some repairs, right? Because nobody really thinks of that. Oh, you're a renter, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. Yeah, well, you don't know as a landlord what all my repairs are. So we made the decision when we got into this is we are not going to be slumlords. I don't want no part of it. I don't want somebody to destroy my place. So we take care of everything as quickly as possible. Use great repair people. If there's a problem, we're going to get it fixed. And in doing so, sure, right, we probably could stretch things and make things last longer or something, but if something needs to be replaced, instead of winging it along and band-aid it, we're going to replace it. So water heaters, we replaced 3 of them, two new roofs, 2 sets of windows on complete 2 different homes, two HVACs, countless HVAC repairs. I mean, this year, I think just in and just our HVAC guy, geez, we might have paid him like $3,000 in just like stupid stuff. Repairs and refilling up Freon and preventative maintenance stuff. I am big on that for HVACs. I am a believer in that. So I try once a year to have them go out and touch all the units, which again, that's not cheap. Just to go out and have a visit and do a checkup. Plumbing repairs. I mean, we've seen some crazy stuff. Plumbing, just issues, ductwork replacement, new flooring, appliances, countless appliances, new refrigerators, new ovens, new microwaves, helping out people furnishing some of the units that we didn't plan on furnishing because it made more sense from a rental, rental numbers and stuff. So those are just the repairs. But now I know you can't even see this, but here's problems, right? No, actually, let me skip back. Here's some things that you need to know that we do in trying to help ourselves as landlords, right? And one thing is, if you're looking at numbers, what you need to make sure you factor in is renter turnover sucks. And nobody told us that. And we really got hit this year as we have 8 condos, essentially student rentals on UT campus. And basically those units are pretty much going to turn over about every year. It's kind of on the rare side. You're probably going to have, 70% turnover is probably what we went through. And that sucked because it's all turnover at the exact same time. So my wife's kind of zigzagging to meet people all day long down there. As people moved out, students don't take care of stuff near as much. So you got to time it up. And that's a quick turnover, right? So these students are going to move out at the end of July. We got to hurry up, turn around, because in just a couple weeks, students are there. So it's a quick scramble. We really got humbled this year and was probably not as prepared as what we definitely were. I was going to say we were not as prepared as what we should have been. So turnover really sucks. And we I would say when we bought our units, we pretty much for the most part took them to what market value at the time. But if we have good tenants in, if we do raise rent, it is very, very minimal that we do it. It makes more sense to keep a good tenant, especially if they're taking care of stuff, helping out, than to raise rent $50, $100. I promise you, the money you lose in turnover between one tenant moving out, trying to find another tenant to move in, getting it cleaned, all that stuff, the money you lose is significantly more time, energy, effort, and again, actual dollars, worse than just keeping a good tenant for a little bit cheaper. Definitely my opinion on that one. Finding good tenants, we make a very valiant effort of trying to vet and find really good people. And some of these tenants, we're, somewhat friends with, we'll see them and we don't want that like bad relationship going. Another thing that we do, we put a guy in a sneeze. There we go. But another thing that we do is quarterly inspections. So we do go to all the units once every 3 months just for a walkthrough. We're just making sure they're not destroying the place. We're also making sure, hey, is there any repairs we need to do? So getting ahead of it. And that's probably a little bit of overkill, but we want to do it because I don't want somebody destroying my place. As a real estate agent, I've been in way too many homes with renters in it and the place is destroyed. Landlord don't care. That's not us. So we want to make sure, again, people are overly taking care of it. And also in the initial stuff, we do credit and background checks. We actually use Zillow for all that one. So they make it really easy. So if something comes back and people don't have a good credit score or they have certain things on their background check that we don't want a part of as our renter profile, we're aware of that. So let's get into the part of the video, I'm sorry it took me long, that you probably are watching this for. Problems. And again, no particular order. Some of this may bounce around. If some of this stuff did not happen to me, and I did not probably see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. This stuff is just mind-blowing. Number one, we're going to start off with a banger here. Let me get some drink here. Number one, a condo with an HOA. We're only responsible for interior walls in. Squirrel gets in our wall, gets in the drywall. Hole gets out, squirrel pokes its head through the wall. This is during like a renter turnover. We're like, what the heck? We got a squirrel in the wall. Squirrel doesn't really get out of the wall. It's an adult. Now all of a sudden we're hearing other noises. They're scratching. Squirrel has babies in our wall. Well, can't really get them out unless taking them out. We're talking to the HOA. HOA doesn't really want to help. But hey, listen, the squirrel is getting in from the exterior, so it's not our problem. Like, this is your problem. Well, fight with the HOA a while. Finally, eventually had to tear all the drywall out, and we had to buy these huge gloves, and we're up there trying to chase baby squirrels around in the inside of a wall. Yes, really happened. I was there, seen it. Mama squirrel was pissed when we were chasing the baby squirrels. I mean, it was a whole thing. Another one, so bought a home, has a gravel driveway, slopes. On a heavy rain, some of the gravel would get into the road. I get a call from the road department. Steven, we've got complaints you have gravel in the roads. That's your gravel. If somebody gets injured, that is your responsibility. They can sue you. Guess what? Didn't know that. So I'm like, crap, what do we do? So kind of figure out, try to band-aid it a little bit and push the water away. Well, it's still happening. So I made the decision, you know what? Let's go ahead and pave it. 240 feet of paved driveway that slopes. That is not cheap. If you know anything about paving and driveways, 240 feet. I can't remember how wide. I don't know, 12 foot wide, 14 foot wide, something like that. That was very expensive. Well, guess what? We did it because of I didn't want to get sued. And it's an improvement. So, arguably, I'm not going to get dollar for dollar back an improvement. But a couple months later, this is a brand new, again, paved driveway. We sell the lot next door there. Somebody's going to build on it. All of a sudden, they basically hire a cement truck who comes and drives over top of our brand new paved driveway. And as they get on the side of it crushes, completely crushes it. What the heck? Of course, the people don't speak any English. How we get the cops involved? And we didn't know this until our tenants called us, right? Good tenants called us. How to get the cops involved? They're interviewing people. We don't know where the vehicle is. The other person doesn't really speak good English, so it's all confusing. The cop doesn't take good notes. I'm trying to like figure stuff out. Going to attorneys, talking to them. Well, how does this work? It's a lawsuit. Like my driveway's crushed. You know, it's just a little bit of a safety hazard to an extent now because of it. Attorneys like, you really can't sue them, and you can't sue them for my fees, and so how much it's going to cost you versus, you know, it's going to be a long problem. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, all right, well, let me just call my homeowners, right? This is before I got into insurance. This is another reason why I got into insurance. Call my homeowners, like, yeah, we can do it. So we'll like do subrogation. So we'll come out, figure it out, and then, you know, whatever we think, and then we'll basically pay for it, and then we'll go after them. Well, they ended up doing it, but they basically gave me less than half of what I paid for it to fix it. And now it's like, it's a slice in it, and so it's going to cause issues later on. I got screwed. Somebody destroyed my driveway, me paying for it, and I got screwed in the end, is basically how this happened. Plus, now I have an insurance claim on my record, which is not a good look. If you talk to any insurance people, it's not a good look. Not my fault. Should have been. It's still going through subrogation. It's the craziest stuff I've ever seen. Septic backup. Yep, that's probably happened to you at some point, or you know somebody that's happened to it. Yep, happened. Backed up into the bathtub with tenants. Have to go out there as an old septic system. Odds are we made some improvements to it, but potentially have to redo that septic system. We're talking 10, 12 grand in order to put a whole new system in for this place. We got a tenant moving out, got a U-Haul truck. And with the U-Haul truck, they backed into our unit, our home that we had put, I didn't even put gutters on there. We got gutters on a lot of houses. That we put brand new gutters and a brand new roof on. Crushed the gutter into the roof and crushed a whole portion of the roof. Tons of damage. Now, at lesson learned there, I called and went through their insurance company and like filed a complaint, got a police report and all that stuff. But again, you know, there was damages. That was annoying. We couldn't move somebody in until that was fixed because it was over the unit. I mean, it's the whole mess there. So we lost money on the rental side because we couldn't put someone in. Next, so we have one eviction. That one actually just got done. Now, until we get another renter in there, I can't really tell you how much that's going to cost. But essentially, we're down about $7 grand right now. In old rent, and you got to think we still got to pay that mortgage payment. Well, $7 grand in old rent by the cash flow that this home was doing. If everything worked out perfect for two years based on the cash flow, because I'm only making like $300 a month in cash flow. So if nothing else goes wrong, and we get a tenant in there tomorrow, it's going to take me 2 years to make the money back that one eviction of a tenant that didn't pay us rent cost us. It's going to cost that 2 years. They don't tell you that. Yeah, that is a wild process. And I'll say regular tenant was graceful about it. They could have been much worse. So very thankful for that. However, again, still didn't pay. And again, right now it's probably cost us $7, and we don't really have any great tenant leads to move in that place. We got a few out there, but nothing that we think is going to work out quite yet. So every time it doesn't, that's just more money we're losing every single day by not having a tenant in there. Next one, one of the, I think it was like our fourth purchase in a HOA condo. We started Airbnb in it at first. It was great. We bought it fully furnished, and man, it was fun. It was cool. And then we got a review on Airbnb. It said, "Hey, like we woke up and there was roaches crawling everywhere. Not like an infested, but definitely a few." And we were like, "Oh crap! You know, what do we got to do?" So hired exterminator. The HOA does like a monthly or a weekly pest spray. So we got on that. It's supposed to solve it all. Nope, got another one and another one, and I was like, "Holy crap! Like we got to figure this out. This is not a good look." And we ended up turning it into a long-term. Getting a contractor trying to seal up every single hole. Well, we talked to the HOA about it. They weren't a ton of help, but they seemed like other people were having the problem. So it wasn't like our unit. The bugs were just in the building. And trust me, these type of roaches, I think they were called wood roaches or something, you can't kill these things. They are unkillable. I don't know if that's a word. They're not killable. It's just crazy. We don't really have, somehow, I guess I think that the exterior treatment from the HOA finally kind of solved that one. That was like a couple month problem of bugs. And again, cost us a lot of money in trying to do everything we can to keep them out of our unit. Mold from exterior wall coming in our unit. We got another unit, HOA again, condo. We're responsible for interior in. Well, we brought out, we had some weird mold show up in random spots in the unit. We have multiple units in this place. Other units don't do it, so it's just really weird. I had a mold company come out. They're like, yeah, these exterior, like there's moisture getting behind here, and then the hot cold is getting into your unit. That's what's causing it. The windows suck. So we're still arguing with HOA. Don't know what's going to come of that, but now we're, I don't know, several hundreds of dollars in to get this mold off the walls a couple different times. And really the root source of it's still not solved. Finding HOAs just in general is a pain. We do have one, the lady, the HOA, the management company, she's actually really great to communicate with. And the other one, I mean, these people are a joke. These HOA management companies just rape these HOAs. And they're just, I mean, I pretty much have 99% nothing but negative things to say about the majority of them, even from a real estate perspective. They're a joke of a business. And how they communicate and how they do things. They just bleed the HOAs, take all the money there. So speaking of that, when we bought 7 units back 2 Julys ago in an HOA, well, we get moved in, everything's rolling, tenants are in, we're like, man, this is good. Special assessment. Special assessment's done by the HOA for certain things. Well, apparently the plumbing in the entire units were going bad. So they got quotes to redo the plumbing. It was like over $50,000. Well, guess what? They had to do $900 special assessment per unit. Guess who has 7 units? Us. 900 times 7. Bam, that's gone. There went like 4 or 5 months of profit between all 7 units combined that we had to pay. Guess what? We paid that, I think it was in April. Was it in April? Yeah, April. Yeah, I think it was in April. And guess what? Plumbing thing still isn't done. They know this because there's a leak that costs like $2,000 a month in water bills the HOA pays. Well, guess who's paying that? Us, as the people who own it. And it's still not fixed yet. So probably another special assessment coming. Joke. Rat chewed through a wire in the wall in one of our units, and one of our bedrooms had no electric. So we couldn't figure it out. Well, we ended up going, hiring somebody, pulling it out, and he's like, man, somebody's chewed through this, and there's like, well, I say rat, might have been mice or mice, mouse, whatever they are. So chewed through the wall, but we're able to point that out. Hey, listen, again, mice are getting in from the exterior, right? This isn't our problem. We ended up actually winning that, and HOA refunded us there, thank goodness, on that one. We had one unit that we needed to get cleaned, and it was pretty dirty. Hired a cleaner, very transparent. Hey, this is what we want. This is what we need. We need a deep clean. We're going to be moving somebody in. They're supposedly there for so long, cleaning. Wife goes out there next day, not even close. She comes back, she's like, they basically did an awful job. Sends me all the pictures. Lady, like, we talked to her, she's like, oh, I can't get back out for like 4 days, and all blah, blah, blah. Then says she goes back out for like 4 or 5 hours. My wife goes back out there, she's like, basically nothing's done. They literally just like, it's a joke. And I think we ended up paying her like $600 for this cleaning. And my wife basically still spent like 5 hours out there. We ended up bought like a steamer. We ended up buying stuff to like help just clean it ourselves because we had a tenant moving in so quickly. Yeah, lesson learned on shitty cleaners. Had a guy replacing a hot water heater in a unit, and he didn't turn off the main line. Well, accidentally hit something. Well, it like, I guess what he hit was the valve, knocked the valve off. All of a sudden, water spewing in the place. The tenant works 3rd shift, calls us. Water's filling up the whole place. Like, what do I do? He ends up actually getting a hold of the water company's emergency line, figure it out. We get the water turned off. We're out there at 11. We had to drive out there at night. We're out there. We go stop at Walmart, buy dehumidifiers. We're soaking up the water, doing everything we can. Awful situation there for the tenant. Another one, field mice. Bought a house on a lot of acreage. There's field mice everywhere. We've tried everything to keep them out. We've hired pest inspectors. They still get into the dwelling still to this day. We have treatment once a month, but they still every now and again, I guess they have babies go crazy for a little bit and they'll calm down for a couple months. Yeah, that was a lot. And I try to make it as quick as possible. But these people on YouTube and buy real estate and all this, they don't tell you this stuff. And it's been a crazy, again, I would do it all over again, without a doubt, no question. I would encourage anybody to get into it. I do think as far as tax benefits, it's really the number one legal loophole, to essentially avoid paying as much taxes as possible, or to pay as least taxes as possible. When you buy a rental and you get to depreciate it, plus it increases in value, and arguably you should cash flow from the dwelling. I mean, I think it's a win all the way. It's like it's three wins. You should be getting ongoing money. Your dwelling should go up in value, so you have future money, and you're able to depreciate your current money now. So it's like three separate wins. But people just, they want your money. They want you to invest with them so they can go out and buy it. And, people, it's like, oh, I have 2,000 units. And well, if you have 2,000 units, like, why are you on here making YouTube videos telling everybody how to like be your competition? No, they want you to buy this book from them and do all this so they can teach. It's all a scam. But you can do it. I never imagined being here ever. Even early on in my real estate career, I was like, I don't ever want to be a landlord. But when you start making definitely a good amount of money, it's either a large portion that's going to go back to the government, or you can invest that properly if you know how to, use the tax benefits that rental real estate has. You can invest that properly, and you can depreciate that and everything. And real estate is a long-term play. If I sell these units and I do not 1031 exchange them, I will have to pay those back taxes. So keep in mind, I'm basically just deferring the taxes, but the plan is essentially, right, to never really get out of the rental real estate game. But yeah, long video, apologize. But lots of crazy stuff. Lots and lots of crazy stuff. So y'all enjoy.